Brought to you by PrayLatin.com, makers of prayer cards featuring complete English phonetic renderings of Latin pronunciations.
Are you ready for a new round of propaganda? And I say propaganda because what I'm going to tell you now is one of the more absurd things I've seen in a long time. There is a scientist who is putting his entire credibility on the line by repeatedly saying that every time an oddly behaving object enters the solar system, that it might be a probe from another civilization, another species, meaning space aliens. And I'd say propaganda because you may have noticed for the past several years, there's been this kind of disclosure project. And it goes like this. Influential laymen, meaning civilians in this case, talking about church stuff so much, but influential civilians will often promote the idea that the government is about to tell the truth about Roswell and UFOs and all the rest of that stuff. It's certainly an interesting topic. However, there's something to be remembered here. We have enough stories of people who have allegedly encountered these creatures where they invoke the name of our Lord out of fear to try to ward the creature off. And do you know what ends up happening? In numerous of these cases, the creature they've encountered leaves. Now, perhaps the creature they've encountered is a figment of their imagination, a sort of waking nightmare. Or perhaps something that's a little more preternatural. It's something to remember. Typically, anything that is repelled by the name of our Lord is either a demon or influenced by them. There are good Catholics today who truly believe that somehow the plan of creation and salvation includes things that aren't even human, even though our consciousness is, biblically speaking, we are made in the image and likeness of God. How you square a biblical worldview, an understanding of biblical theology of any kind, any serious kind, Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox, anything that is even vaguely rigorous, with the idea that there's another species with another civilization somewhere out in the cosmos. I don't know how you square those things. But if you look at this issue, what you're about to hear, as part of a deception of a diabolical nature, an attempt to turn your eyes from God and onto something else entirely. Anything else entirely. The demons don't care if you worship them or not, although I'm sure they find it amusing when you do, because they could not care less about you. As long as you are keeping your eyes and your mind and your heart on God, then they don't care. That is their goal, is to inflict as much suffering on you through in the hereafter by distracting you from God, by trying to get you to worship the created instead of the creator. Keep that in mind. We have a scientist who keeps making these stories, and now they're going into the most mainstream of mainstream media outlets. Let's turn to those now. Get ready for more propaganda. And this is the kind of propaganda that Catholics of all stripes should be wary of. The system is going to be telling you soon, it seems, that visitors from far off worlds are coming to Earth, and probably a threat. Probably is what they're going to say. That they're coming here and we must unite around some central authority and give all of our money and everything so that they can impose things on us for our own safety. That kind of rhetoric. We've been waiting for this for a long time. And now it seems that the powers that should not be are getting ready to make their next play. I'm going to show you this utterly amazing story. And it came from Newsweek. Headline, Harvard physicist claims new interstellar comet is an alien probe. Now that's an amazing story, isn't it? That there's a comet coming, and it's not behaving in ways that comets usually do, according to the scientist. And so the only other thing it could be is Voyager, basically, or one of those Mars rovers that we send, except from some other civilization, from another species, some far-flung corner of the universe. Now, if you've ever listened to like pretty hard line physicists about this kind of thing, there's some actual like logistics problems with sending probes from one corner of the universe to the other. But maybe if we're talking about an advanced enough species, they've worked that issue out. And he's saying the word probe, but you don't have to have much of an imagination or nefarious purposes to say, well, it's actually not a probe. It's a craft with inhabitants. And it's a threat. So you must surrender all your freedoms. That is essentially a crisis to manufacture for political purposes. So get ready for this story. I expect this isn't the only time you're going to hear about this in the coming weeks or months. From the Newsweek article, as mainstream of a mainstream outlet as it gets. Quote, an unexpected visitor to our solar system spotted earlier this month might be a piece of alien technology. That is according to one professor from Harvard University. 31/Atlas, which is only the third known interstellar object ever recorded, was detected on July 1st by NASA's Atlas telescope in Chile. Despite being officially classified as a comet, theoretical physicist Professor Avi Labouf, Harvard University, has argued that the object could have been sent by an alien civilization. Loeb explained that the object's trajectory, size, and behavior suggest it could be something far more advanced than a natural occurrence. It could instead be some form of alien craft or probe. The retrograde orbital plane of 31 Atlas around the Sun lies within 5 degrees of that of Earth. The likelihood for that coincidence out of all random orientations is 0.2%, Loeb told Newsweek. Despite this, other scientists are skeptical of Loeb's claims. Richard Mosel, head of planetary defense at the European Space Agency, told Newsweek there have been no signs pointing to non-natural origins of 31 Atlas in the available observations. I'm going to point out something. The European Space Agency has a planetary defense program. Okay. These are not the only anomalies that set 31 Atlas apart from typical comets. In addition to its retrograde orbit, Loeb said that the brightness of 31 Atlas implies an object that is around 20 kilometers in diameter, which he explains as too large for an interstellar asteroid. It might have targeted the inner solar system as expected from alien technology, he added. 31 Atlas is expected to pass unusually close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter this fall. An alignment Loeb calculates as having a probability of just 0.005% if the arrival time were random. The comet is expected to reach its closest point to the Sun on October 29th, when it will be hidden from Earth's view, a detail Loeb finds suspicious. This could be intentional to avoid detailed observations from Earth-based telescopes, he added. The object also lacks typical cometary features. No special features of cometary gas are found in spectroscopic observations of 31 Atlas, he said. Unlike Loeb, the gentleman from the European Space Agency believes that the most likely explanation for the object is natural origin, likely originating from an orbit around a star somewhere in our galaxy. All observations are in agreement with basic assumptions about space-weathered natural object, which so far weak cometary activity. It's not the first time Loeb has shared an extraterrestrial theory for a space object. In 2022, he theorized that the mysterious cosmic object known as Oumuamua may be technology from an alien civilization. While emphasizing this remains a hypothesis, Loeb argues the possibility deserves serious attention. The consequences, should the hypothesis turn out to be correct, could potentially be dire for humanity. We better be ready for both options and check whether all interstellar objects are rocks. In the meantime, work is being done to collect as much data as possible about objects like 31 Atlas. So yes, this is the Hans Zarkov of our time, if you know that reference. Get ready for more of this. There has been a lot of, spacecraft, alien craft talk in the media in the last few years, with disclosure, as they call it, allegedly coming. When that happens, I don't think it's an if, I think it's a when, be prepared for propaganda unlike anything you've ever seen. We're talking about bad people, and the chances of there being another civilization out there who can reach us are pretty small. And the chances of there being another species out there with consciousness is, if you take a biblical worldview, probably zero. Unless you believe in the demons thesis, which I tend to. Now, I'm curious what you have to say about this all, so let me know in the comments. Are you surprised at all by this story? The story about a comet that is behaving unlike the way comets usually do, heading towards a place where it won't be able to be observed easily by humans, and being potentially from outside the solar system, or so our totally trustworthy scientists tell us. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, please. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't. It absolutely does help. Sharing this on social media helps a lot too. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.